All right, what's going on, man?
What up? How you?
I'm alive. I can't do no complaining. Introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about yourself, where you come from.
Man, I'm Rome, or R.O. me. Tom Cruise bow holder, Jack Frost in the flesh, man. Coming from up the way.
Okay, then.
I mean, Cleveland, Ohio. 2 + 1 = 6.
Right.
North Coast.
I was just about to say, for the people who don't know, what's up the way?
Up the way is over by like Harvard Elite area, Warrensville, you know what I mean, Union, Kinsman, all that shit, Miles. You know what I mean? So I'm from the Warrensville area. I kicked it a lot on Harvard Elite. Yeah, graduated from Warrensville. My pops stayed on the 113th and Union. My mom was from the village. You know what I mean? So I always grew up the way.
Okay, man, I respect that. Yeah. I respect that. So what was it like coming up in Warrensville?
Shit. It was kind of quiet. You know what I mean? It wasn't real loud. You know what I mean? It was quiet, but it was still Cleveland. You know what I mean? And it ain't that far from other neighborhoods, you know what I mean? So like Warrensville's kind of like how EC was, but before all the people started moving out. Everybody from like that side of town, St. Clair, Eddie Road and all that shit, how they all move going towards Euclid. It's just like that. Everybody that's from Harvard, everybody that went to Grace Mount or like Stevenson's or Adams and shit, they all start pushing up the way and shit by Warrensville, Bedford, Maple, Garfield and all that. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool, man. It's real laid back. It's a lot of shining going on up there. I would say this, like, you know how Harlem is with like flashiness and shit?
Yeah.
That's kind of like how up the way is. A lot of niggas dress good as shit, got mad bitches, mad money, you know what I mean? So that's where I grew up around, man. Real quiet, real laid back, real chill.
Respect.
Yeah.
Respect. So, all right, so when did you find out that you was into music? When did that come about?
Oh, man, shit. I had to be 14. I was 14, I heard this song by Nas called Rewind. And that's what made me fall in love with hip hop when I heard that song. I was always hip to, you know what I'm saying, hip hop and shit, but I wasn't allowed to listen to it. My mom saying play that shit. She fucks with hip hop, but she can't do all the cussing, you know what I mean? So the only time I got to listen to hip hop and like rap music was when I was with my cousins or with the homies. You know what I mean? Or I had to sneak and listen to that shit on my own. So yeah, I would say about 14 is when I really started like digging deep into hip hop. Started listening to Naughty by Nature. Of course, Pac and Biggie, you know what I mean? Going back and do the research on that shit, but Nas. And Swisher House was real big back then. See, I was 14, it was like 2005 when I was 14. So yeah, Swisher House was real big, Dipset was real big, The Lox, Jay-Z was real big. So I really adapted more towards the Swisher. I always listen to Swisher House and Dipset. You know
Tell them boys we in Cleveland.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's 14. I'll say that's when I really started like paying attention to hip hop.
Okay, so now was this the Warrensville days at this time?
Yeah, it was. 14, 2005, yeah, it was. I didn't move to Warrensville till 2003. Yeah, my grandma died, and we moved to Warrensville up in North Randall Apartments on Warrensville Center, right across the street from Thisnow Racetrack.
Okay.
That's where I was staying at.
Okay.
So from the age of 13 until now, at 35, that's where I've been at.
Okay, so what was the music scene like back then?
Shit.
As far as for an emerging artist that's trying to come up.
That's when the South really took over. The South really took over there. They came up with crunk music, Lil Jon, the East Side Boys. D4L was popping back then. The Franchise Boys was popping back then. So it was, the South really started their takeover right there, I feel.
Right.
You know what I mean? Of course, it happened back in the 90s with Outkast and Andre 3000 saying the South got something to say. That was the beginning of it, but I think like the peak of it, like when it really started taking off was that 05 era, 04, 05, you know what I mean? So the music back then was real live. It was real live. A lot of people was dancing. I mean, remember the club Kamikaze?
Yes.
It was a teenage club? Yes. That's back then. A lot of fights happening. Yeah, a lot of fights, man. Waka Flocka Fame, that was our first drill music. Like Waka Flocka Fame and shit that you couldn't play no Waka without.
Gun sound.
Man, what? And that shit come on. And it was a bunch of fighting back then too. You know what I mean? So it wasn't no really big on gunplay. It was real fisticuffs back then. You know what I mean? So that was a good time to be alive, man. That was a good time to come up.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So where were you in this journey? Did you start your music journey at this time yet?
Yeah, I wrote my first rhyme when I was 14. Well, I was 13 going on 14. I wrote my first rhyme called The Talk of Cleveland.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then what made me want to write that rhyme though was Nas. When I heard that Rewind song, you ever heard Rewind by Nas? Mm-hmm. Man, if y'all ain't never heard that song Rewind by Nas, y'all gotta go back and listen to that shit. This nigga rapped the whole song backwards. Like he started from the end of the story that he was telling, started from the end and went to the beginning.
I heard about this song.
He even said sentences backwards. You know what I mean? Like that's how deep he went.
Super
and when
clear.
I heard that shit, I was like, damn. I was like, I knew I couldn't do that exactly, but I knew that I could write something. You know what I mean? So I tried it, wrote The Talk of Cleveland, and then after that, so many people told me that I was dope when I rapped it to, especially my brother, rest in peace, Fat D. When I started rapping that shit to him, he was like, nigga, you good at that? Cause I used to beatbox. I was the beatboxer. Me and my brother be walking down the street. We used to walk from North Randall Apartments, right there across the street from Thistledown. We used to walk from there to 189th and Harvard, where he grew up at. And we'll just be smoking and rapping. He'll be rapping, and I'll be beatboxing. You know what I mean? Then one day he was like, man, I'm a beatbox and I want you to rap. And I kept hitting the nigga with the yeah, but never start. So he was getting mad about this shit, and he just stopped and was like, bro, like, I'm not gonna keep my mouth getting dry now. I'm not about to keep beatboxing if you ain't gonna do it. Like, for real, do it. And I did it from that day, and he was like, yo, like, you good at that shit. You gotta keep doing it. And ever since, I ain't never stopped. Ever since then, 05, 14, when I wrote my first rhyme.
Okay, so at that time, where was your mind at as far as making it? Like, did you have that dream? Did you have, like, where did the grind start for you?
It did start there, the grind, because my brother kept just pushing it in my head, like, yo, we gonna make it. It's like, we go be the niggas that make it from Cleveland, and we gonna make it in, because a lot of people say you can't make it in your city, you gotta leave your city to make it. My brother was like, nah, fuck that, we gonna make it here. And we gonna that was the whole agenda, put Cleveland on the map. Because I feel like this to this day, I get tired of people like, coming to Ohio, they're just like skipping over Cleveland or like barely to stop through. It made me feel like niggas scared to come to the city. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't you be?
Yeah, I would. If I wasn't from here and I heard the stories, yeah, I would. But since I grew up here, you know what I mean? I know that it's like that, but it ain't like that. Right. You know what I mean? But that's where it started. It's like we gotta make the city known, because we not really that known. We known for, at that time it was just Bone Thugs that we was known for. Then LeBron came in and we was known for LeBron, but that's basketball, you know what I mean? And as far as hip hop, Bone Thugs was doing their thing, and then Chip came out, you know what I mean? Al Fats or Fat Al came out, but I done came down. Ray Cash was out back then. Shout out to all them. Yeah, so we had a nice little scene in Cleveland, but we still wasn't being heard. I feel like we were still being like unrecognized. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's where it all started that year when I wrote my first rhyme. The conversations that I had with older, because when I was 14, man, I used to kick with niggas that was like in their 40s, 50s and shit. So I got a lot of game at a young age. You know what I mean? So that's when it started. Just having people telling me like, man, if you go do it, you gotta do it for the city. Right. And I felt like that. I still feel like that to this day. That's why I represent so hard the way I do.
That's crazy that you said that, because I actually got a question where I said I realized that you got a lot of like Bone and a lot of just Cleveland-based DNA in your music.
Yeah.
We're gonna expound on that. Let's go back to the beginning. So I'm noticing the name is R.O. Me, which is Rome, pretty much, right? Where did that name come from? What was the inspiration behind the name?
Well, see, when I first started rapping, I was going by just Rome, right? And then one of the homies, my cousin Luch, shout out to Lucci, man. I was rapping with him. Like I said, I used to beatbox, so I used to be sitting in the hallways beatboxing on the staircase. We sit on the staircase, and I'll be on the staircase for him. And he didn't believe that I knew how to rap. I kept saying I knew how, but I never would. I kept hitting him with the same shit, and never start. And he got mad one day too. It's like, nigga, if you gonna rap, then rap. And I spit that bar. I spit the Talk of Cleveland for him. And that was his first time hearing me rap and shit. So when he heard me rap, he was like, man. He was like, nigga, you gonna be famous one day. And he was like, you should make your name Fame. Like your rap name should be Fame. And I was like, oh, Fame, that's cool. So I was going by Fame for like a year. But the more I said Fame, the more I was like, that's not me. I felt like I was lying to the people and to myself. Like, my name is not Fame, my name is Rome. So I was like, man, fuck that, I'm just gonna stay my name. So I kept going by Rome. And then my pops got me hip to an R&B singer that was out back in the day named Rome. damn, what was the name of that song? Every time I see it, every time I see your face, it makes me wanna sing every time. That nigga. So I was like, oh shit, I can't use his name because he already got it. I don't want to get sued by nobody. But I thought about this years later. I was going by Rome. I didn't change my name from Rome to R.O.Me until 2019. And that's when I started taking my music serious, when I actually started recording my music, you know what I mean? But once I started learning about like copyrights and trademarks and getting your name copyrighted, I was like, damn, I can't get Rome copyrighted because somebody already else got that name. And then there was another rapper named Rome that Marcus Houston did a song with back in the day. So I'm like, damn, that's two niggas with the name Rome. How can I be different? I still want to keep my name as Rome because that's my name, but how can I be different about it? And I don't know, something just clicked in my mind that's just said R.O.Me, and it's just the me part, like me, like that's me. So at first I tried to say R.O.Me, like just R.O. then space then me, and then I tried the young Rome shit, then I tried young R.O., and nothing sounded good until I said R.O.Me. Then I was like, damn, R.O.Me, if I put a period between the R and the O, R.O. And some people still say that. Some people still say, yo, R.O.Me. And I'm like, okay, wait, that's cool because it's still my name. But that's where I got it from. I just tried to be different. I tried to be different and make my name as different as I could, but still had the same cadence, still had the same name. So when you look at it, it say R.O.Me, but you know what I mean? It say Rome, you know what I mean? So I capitalized the R, the O, the M, then I put a little E at the end, you know what I mean? Then I put the space in between, so it's R.O.Me, but like you said, it's still Rome. Okay, so that's where it was, just me being different, trying to figure out how I can make my name different and stand out.
Respect. Yeah. Okay, so what's the Flymouth brand about?
Ah man, Flymouth came in the same year, 2018, 2019. Me and my brother started this thing called FMG back in the day. Well, he started, and he wanted me to be a part of it. So he used to rap. This back when we was rapping on the stereo and recording our voice on the cassette. Like on a cassette tape, putting the shit on the cassette tape.
Showing your age.
Man, what?
Showing your age.
Shout out to the people that I can't remember. I remember James McDuffie rapping with us. I remember Vale rapping with us. It's a couple there. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting y'all, man. I can see the faces in my head, but I ain't spoke to so many people in years, man. But what's his name? We used to call him Big Lip something. Big Lip Rail or Big Lip Tie something, because he had a big ass bottom lip. And my brother was good for giving niggas nicknames like that. He just gave niggas, however you look, it's the nickname he would have gave you. So this nigga had a big ass bottom lip, so he just called him Big Lip and then whatever. I'm sorry I'm forgetting your name, bro. But it was Big Lip something. And we used to rap over in Shaker Park and shit, man. And my brother came to me one day, was like, yo, Big Lip something said FMG in one of his rhymes, so we Foul-Mouth Gangsters. And my brother liked the way that sounded, so he was like, yo, I'm about to start this shit called FMG. I'm like, yo, what does it stand for? He said it stands for Foul-Mouth Gangsters. So we was going by Foul-Mouth Gangsters, but every time we said gangsters, niggas thought that we was gang banging. GD, no disrespect to, you know what I'm saying, nobody that gang bang. But every time we said gangsters, niggas like, oh yeah, y'all banging. And we like, no, we not. That's just the name. So we changed it from Foul-Mouth Gangsters to Foul-Mouth Gang. Right, so FMG, that was a long time, man. We started that back in 05. And then me and my brother got into it. We had a disagreement, and we stopped talking for a while. So when we stopped talking, I was like, yo, I'm not gonna rep FMG no more. I'm gonna change from Foul-Mouth, I'm gonna change to Flymouth. And I'm just gonna do my own thing. And then we eventually settled our differences and got back cool. So when we got back cool, he was like, yo, this still Foul-Mouth. And I was like, all right, cool. I just dropped the G at the end of my shit, and I just got FM, just Flymouth, that's it. And he was cool with it. He was like, all right, for sure. And we was continue to do our same thing that we've been doing. I mean, we basically caught up to where we left off at. And then he passed away. So when he passed away, that's when I was like, yeah, I really gotta keep it going. I really gotta keep it going. So I still took the G off, and just no disrespect, like I said, no disrespect to nobody. I took the G off because my brother not here no more with me. So I feel like it can't be FMG if the two people that started, and one of them gone. So since he passed away, I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna leave it Flymouth. And that's how that shit started. I started that in 2019. 2019 is when I started. That's when the idea came about. And then I start getting logos for it. I start rapping about it. And that's what it is now.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm sorry for your loss too, by the way.
No, that's all good.
Do you mind? Like, how did he pass?
A car accident.
Car accident?
Yeah, he was on his way home from Atlanta driving back, and he passed away in North Carolina.
Damn,
Yeah, got into a car accident and shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes,
So it's a must that you keep the name alive.
Yeah, I got to, man.
It's
I
a
got
must.
to. And then we made a promise for ourselves. We made a promise. We told each other that we was gonna do this together for the city of Cleveland. So I'm not gonna bet it. I'm still gonna do it. But this time I only got 3 reasons why I'm doing this shit. I'm doing this shit because of the love of hip hop, for the CLE, and for my brother. That's the only reason why I'm doing this shit. You know what I mean? For the love of hip hop, for the city of Cleveland, and for him.
Okay, then. I respect that. So, like I said before, I noticed that your music got like a 90s, Bone Thugs. It's just all around. I feel like if nobody's ever been to Cleveland, you kind of a good representation of like you're embracing Cleveland. Was that by design or was that like?
Yeah, that's on purpose.
Okay.
That's on purpose for sure.
Because I noticed it. I was looking. I'm like, okay, he got like a real live like. You look like the average guy you would see in Cleveland somewhere. You are breathing Cleveland.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to make that known when I do my music, because when I hear a lot of people music that's from the city or even from the surrounding areas, it don't sound like they from the city where they say they from. They sound like, but that's I think that's just riding wave. I think that's just when something sounds good or when something is working, people gravitate to that. You know what I mean? Like back in the day when Ken Griffey came out with his kicks. You know what I mean? He had the big ass 24 on it. You seen everybody for like 2 summers wearing nothing but Ken Griffey.
Everybody.
And then once it stopped being cool, everybody left it alone.
Yep.
Back to Jordan. Same thing with Al Iverson when he came out with his shoes back. Everybody was fucking with that. Everybody was fucking with the Kobe's. Everybody was fucking with LeBron's when he first came out. But then when it stopped being cool, people was like, "Ah, that ain't cool no more."
Back to Jordan.
And then they wait for the next cool thing to come, and then they gravitate towards that. So I make it my mission. I make it known that, hey, I'm from up north. You know what I mean? And that shit don't sound cool, because who you know represent the North Coast.
Right.
Even when I say I'm from the North Coast, niggas give me that look like North Coast. Like, nigga, we ain't North Coast, we Midwest. It's like, nah, we not. You know what I mean? Like, you go downtown, it's a big ass sign in front of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that say "Welcome to the North Coast." You know what I mean? Like, wow, we got North Coast Dental, we got North Coast Mitsubishi, we got North Coast Auto Mall, we got the North Coast Community Homes. Like, if we was really in the Midwest, that shit would say Midwest Mitsubishi, Midwest Community. You know what I mean? So I don't like saying shit that I really don't know. I don't like representing something that I really don't know. So I try to stick to what I know. And what I know is Cleveland. That's where I'm from. You know what I mean? I'm from up north. I'm from 216. I was born and raised here. I still live here. I don't plan on going nowhere unless it's to visit. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to make our own sound, because I feel like we don't really have a major sound. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm doing a good job at creating that sound. You know what I mean? Because the city laid back. This is a mafia city. You know what I mean? Even from here to Toledo back to Youngstown, it's a mafia city. And it's real laid back and real calm. You know what I mean? So I try to keep that alive in my music, and that's the type of person I am too. At least with my music, because talking to me outside, I'm real energetic. You know what I mean? I got a lot of life in me. But when it comes to this music and representing this shit, like, I gotta make it known where I'm from. You know what I mean? I don't want to sound like I'm from somewhere else. I don't want to be rapping like I'm from Memphis, and I'm not. No disrespect to Memphis, because they got a good ass sound. But that's what I'm saying. When something sounds good, everybody gravitates towards that, and then they start to sound like that. I don't want to sound like that. I want to sound like where I'm from. I want to sound like R.O. me. You know what I mean? So that's where that shit comes from.
Okay, then. So I was going through your catalog and I stumbled across the song Friday Off. Now, the thing about Friday Off was it's very much given that 90s Cleveland type of sound.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, and I wanted to ask you this personally, like, who, one, does your visuals, and two, is it more than what we're seeing? Because it looks like that this is all apart from that, and there's another one that I saw. Those 2 videos just look like it's deeper than what we're actually seeing. So is that also by design? Who's doing the visuals? Is it by design? And is there something deeper than what we're seeing? That was probably like a 3-parter.
Shit. Well, Tom Stump. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong, man. But Tom, my nigga T-Dot, he the one that do the visuals. He do all my visuals. And I think he understand where I'm coming from when I say that I'm representing Cleveland. So that's why if you notice in all my songs, it always start off with like a drone shot of the city, because I want to make that known. So I think that as far as me, I know it's intentional, but I don't think it was intentional with T-Dot at the beginning. But the more I talk and the more I grew a relationship with T-Dot, I think he started to understand like, oh, this nigga really love Cleveland. Like, and I tell him like, man, no matter what you do, we need a shot of Cleveland, we need a shot of the buildings, we need a shot of the lake or something in it. So for me, it's intentional. For him, I think it didn't start intentional, but now I think it is intentional because he know who I am and he know what I want. You know what I mean? So I hope that answered the question, man.
It did. It was one part that which was, is it something deeper to the visuals that we're not seeing? Like, is it like a story you telling throughout the visuals? Because they kind of feel connected. Maybe it is just the shots.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. Now T-Dot, he has talked to me. He told me like, yo, you getting better with your music, you getting better with videos. You gotta start coming up with a concept for the videos. It just can't be you, and you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm trying to think about what can I do. And I think Friday Off was the first, I think Friday Off was the first video where I actually sat down and thought about where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. Shout out to Queen Ray because she helped me with a lot of the visuals and stuff. Like Queen Ray is the one that came up with the locations. Like, we go do this and we gonna go here and we gonna go there, because that's how her mind works. And she got a couple videos that all her videos that she got is always a concept. It tell a story in her video. So I think that's where I get it from. Because after hearing her ideas and seeing the way that she worked, I was like, oh, okay, I see you gotta tell a story with this shit. You just can't, we chilling on a Friday off. What you do on your Friday off? And I was like, oh, and that's exactly how I wrote my verse. Like, okay, what did I do on a Friday off? I normally go see what my pop's doing, hit this nigga. By the time I get to his house, he drunk already. You know what I mean?
1 o'clock.
He already drunk, you know what I mean? And then by the time I get there, he be drunk already. So now he ready to eat, to soak some of that shit up. So I'm about to go ahead and eat some spaghetti with this nigga. Then after that, let me go to the bar. You know, what you do on your Friday off? You know what I mean? So that's what I tried to incorporate within my verse. Within the video, that came from Queen Ray. Like, that was all her vision. So shout out to Queen Ray, man.
Okay, man. I respect that. So tell me about, I noticed in the credits that you had our engineers, Jake Jekyll and Chris DeCola. How did you get in tune with them at Signal Flow Studios? And would you say like that's like they also are starting to understand what you got going on?
Yeah, for sure.
They seem like a great fit for your sound as well.
That man, and I started off working with Chris DeCola. Shout out to Coca-Cola. When I first met Chris, that's what I called him. I said, man, what's your name? And he was like, Chris. When I first met him, I thought he was part of the mafia, bro. This nigga had a suit on. He had a Rolex watch, man, hair slicked back and shit. I'm like, oh man, this gotta be like one of the mafia's grandsons or some shit. I gotta play it cool with this nigga. But I went online. This is my first time moving to the west side. I moved from the east side to the west side. I was on West 14th and Clark. I moved over there and I was like, yo, I gotta get this music out. Cause I had a whole lot of verses that me and my brother had wrote like from like the year like 2006 all the way to 2008, 2009, some shit like that. So all my first mixtape was all verses that was already like pre-wrote that I did like back when I was 16, 17, and I just reused that. But I ain't had nowhere to record. So I hopped on Google and was like, yo, what's the closest studio near me? And the first one that popped up was Top of the World Studio. Shout out to Josh. He was the first one to pop up, and the second one was Signal Flow. Now, I didn't know what Signal Flow was, but it said it was 11 minutes away from where I stayed in the Steel Yard. And I done been through the Steel Yard a few times. I had never seen the fucking studio in the Steel Yard. But I hit him up. I hit him up on DM and on his Instagram. I was like, yo, I just moved to the west side. My name Rome. I'm looking for a studio. And back then, he was doing a deal for like $25 an hour. I think it was either 20 or 25. And he was like, yeah, come down here to the studio. He sent me the address. And I ended up walking to the studio. That's how close it was. 11 minutes, bro. I ended up walking from my house or my apartment to Signal Flow Studio down in the Steel Yard. Met him that day. I forget what song we recorded that day. I think we recorded 2 songs that day. But me and Coca-Cola grew like a strong relationship that day, and we've been rocking ever since. But then he got a little busy. He got a lot of shit that he working on, a lot of projects. So he became like busy. So he was like, man, Jake, dude, he is good too. Like we all do. I work with Jake. I work with Man, I'm sorry if I'm getting your name, bro. He moved to Columbus. No, it wasn't Aaron. Was it Aaron? He moved to Columbus, man. Ethan was his name.
Yeah, Ethan. Yeah,
I started working with Ethan.
Ethan was just there and then he just disappeared.
Yeah, he moved to Columbus and then he moved to New York and then I ain't seen him in a long time, bro.
Nothing, no social media. Nothing.
I ain't seen him in a long time. But I started working with him after Coca-Cola. I started working with him, and then I started working with damn, he had a baby. Not Phoenix. Shout out to Phoenix though. There was another engineer, man. I think his real name is Sean, but I forget what they call him. But I started working with him. That was the third person I worked with, and he ended up having a baby, and life took him that way. And then I started working with Jake, and I've been working with Jake ever since 2021 until now. I've been working. No, 2022 until now. I've been working with Jake. You know what I mean? So, hell yeah! Shout out to the Signal Flow family, man.
You did. So all right. So I caught wind of the what was it called? Super Player. It's a song you got, Super. I think it's called Super.
Is it Super Player?
Super Player. No, There and Back. Is it
There and Back? A player song.
Yeah, a player song. That's what it is.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I noticed the straw chair. Is that like a family picture or something?
Yeah, that was my uncle sitting in that chair, man.
What's the significance with this chair?
My uncle was a player, man.
I think I got a grandfather that got a picture in that same chair.
I don't know what those chairs represent.
I think every black family has
Got
a
that
picture.
chair, or the Black Panthers.
Yeah. Yeah, or the Africans with no face.
Yeah. That's all in the black family for sure.
But the straw chair caught me. I'm like, I gotta ask him about this. Like, this got to be a personal family.
That was my uncle sitting in that chair along with his wife and two other ladies. You know what I mean? So that my uncle was a player, man. Recipe, he passed away too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, rest in peace to Uncle Butch, man. And my uncle was legally blind, man. He was legally blind. He graduated from college and shit. I think he got his master's. If I'm not incorrect.
He was pimping too?
No, hell no. He wasn't pimping. He was just a player. When I was little, he used to tell me, man, Rome, man. Because my uncle was blind, man. So I used to sneak under the table and try to steal his cigarettes and shit. But I didn't know that once one sense leaves, the other one gets stronger. So he could hear me clear as day trying to like crawl on the floor. I don't know why I was crawling on the floor trying to steal Mavericks out this nigga Maverick box, man. I swear. But I was. And sometimes he'll let me slide. I'd get them shit. I just seen my uncle light a cigarette backwards and hit that bitch. He's like, oh shit, and put it out, man. Rome, give me another cigarette. You know what I mean? But Uncle Butch was cool as shit, man. Cool as shit. He always told me, man, Rome, you gonna be a parking lot pimp one day. You was a young player. You gonna be a part. And I ain't know what the fuck a parking lot pimp was. He told me the difference between a gorilla pimp and a parking lot pimp. Gorilla pimp smack they hoes. They punch them. They beat them with a parking lot pimp. He don't do that, man. He just talk to them nice. He love them. He love them. They'll do anything you want as long as you be nice to them. I'm like, oh shit. So that's why when I seen that family photo of him and his wife and the other two ladies, I was like, oh shit. Now I know that those wasn't his girls, you know what I'm saying? It was just a picture, you know what I mean? He probably came there with them, was like, yo, let's take a picture, you know what I mean? So I knew it wasn't nothing like that, but it could have been, you know what I mean? Because my uncle was a player, man.
So would you say he's the inspiration behind that song?
Hell yeah, he the inspiration behind that song. He the inspiration behind Mr. Maurice Kamal, because that was his name. His name is Maurice Kamal, but we call him Uncle Butch. You know what I mean? So Mr. Maurice Kamal was inspired by him. That's when he first passed away, and I did that song and that video. And then when I heard that beat to There and Back, I was like, yo, this sounds like something my uncle would listen to. I just kept thinking about this nigga every time I heard that beat. I just kept thinking about him. I'm like, man, I'm gonna do this for him. I'm gonna do this song for him.
You did that.
Yeah, man. That's one of my best songs right now. I like that.
Do you know who made that beat?
Damn. Who made that? Primo Rice.
Okay. Then.
Primo Rice. The name of the original song was called Malaysia.
Okay.
Primo Rice featuring Larry June.
Okay.
That's where I got that beat from. So I feel like, yo, that's one of my mixtape beats. That's one of my mixtape beats. I put that shit on the mixtape. I was gonna put it on the mixtape, but I was like, nah, this bitch sound better, because I didn't want to wait for it to drop. I'm like, I need to drop this shit right now. And that's basically what my YouTube page is. It's just a whole bunch of music. You'll hear some familiar beats with me rapping on them shits. And then I got hit the DistroKid, man. So now I'm putting music out on DistroKid that's not, you know what I'm saying, YouTube beats, it's paid for beats. I can put them shits out, drop it, you know what I mean? So yeah, hell yeah. I do a lot of that.
No.
I do a lot of that.
All right, can you give me a rundown on the Polar Bear season single. What was give me a little bit about that.
Polar Bear season, man. Polar Bear season. So I had wrote that song. I had wrote that song like months prior to me dropping it. I had wrote it. I had the beat. I had the beat months before I dropped the song and actually wrote to it. But that Polar Bear season was me basically showing off my skills on how versatile I am. You know what I mean? I just wanted to show that like, I could do whatever beat. I could do whatever beat. But once I started writing to it, I was like, yo, this shit is dope. I got so many people telling me, man, you don't normally rap like that. That's not your sound, but it sound good. Like you should keep doing that. And I'm like, nah, I found my sound. I just wanted to put this out because it had that gutter to it. You know what I mean? That griminess to it. And when I dropped it, I was like, yo, this is the perfect time to drop Polar Bear season because this is a dangerous time for polar bears right now. Right now, polar bears is coming out of their hibernation. They starting to mate. They starting to hunt for food so they can survive what's coming up. Hibernation. So I'm like, yo, this is the perfect time because it's springtime. This is the time where, and honestly, right now, the polar bears are most dangerous at this time right now. You know what I mean? Because they got a mission basically. They on a mission to eat and to stuff themselves in there to make some babies. You know what I mean? They ain't got no time to fuck around. This is a great time and dangerous time for polar bears. And I call myself the biggest polar bear up north. You know what I mean? So, and that just came about too. I don't know why I thought about that shit, but I did. I thought about that shit, and I think that shit dope as shit. You know what I mean? And I call myself the top pro bowl holder, Jack Frost in the flesh, and I'm like, yo, what else? I'm so about up north. I'm so about the snow and cold weather. I just keep trying to find different ways to. What's the word I'm looking for? I keep trying to find different ways to like put myself smack dab in the middle of winter. You know what I mean? At all times. Like I don't give a fuck if it's 80 degrees outside. When I come around, it's negative 30. You know what I mean? Like right now, sitting in this room, it might be 76 degrees outside, and it's 16 with me being here. You know what I mean? So that's just me being different again. That's me being different again, man. Trying to shy away from what's cool and what's popular and make my own shit cool and popular. You know what I mean?
Okay, so before we wrap it up, I got two more questions for you.
All right.
One is, give me a little bit about the Jackin' for Beats series. Where did that come from?
Man, that's a great question. So Jackin' for Beats, I got a couple mixtapes before that. I'm working on my 7th mixtape right now. But when I got to the Jackin' for Beats shit, I heard this song by Ice Cube called Jackin' for Beats. And it was like a 3-minute song, I think. And in that song, the beats switched like 7 times, but it was all beats from different rappers that was hot that year. And I was like, damn, that's dope as fuck that he did that shit on one song. And I started thinking about Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne did that shit with the Droughts. I think it was the Droughts that he did that with.
But he also had a Jackin' for Beats too.
He did?
Yeah, back when he was when they was doing what did they used to call it? Squad Up.
Oh shit, I ain't know
Carter
that.
Before Carter 1.
That was a mixtape?
Yeah, the actual Jackin' for Beats, like 3 of them, I think it was.
Damn, I feel bad as hell now. I feel like I stole his idea.
But nah, like,
I mean, that's where I got the concept from. I got it from him and Ice Cube.
That's where he got it from.
All right, see, I'm you know what I'm saying? But that's where I got it from. I heard that Ice Cube song, and then I know I didn't want to make a song exactly like that. And then I was like, what if I make mixtapes like that? What if I did mixtapes the way Lil Wayne did, killing everybody's song, but I killed everybody's song from that coast? So every rapper that I listen to on the East Coast, that's the beat I chose to do for that mixtape. Excuse me. Every rapper that I fuck with on the South, West, East, I just didn't do North because I'm from up North. So East, West, and South, I was like, I'm gonna take everybody beat that I listen to or that I know about on that coast, and I'm just gonna make a whole mixtape of me just killing their beats and making their shit mine. You know what I mean? So that's where it came from. It came from Ice Cube and Lil Wayne. So shout out to both of them. Shout out to Cube. Shout out to Wayne, man.
Respect.
Man.
Okay, so what's the writing process like?
I like to hear the beat first. I like to hear the beat, listen to the beat, because that gives me an idea of what I want to rap about. However the beat sound is, I can listen to a beat and be like, oh man, this sound like a stripper song. Or I can listen to a beat and be like, oh man, this sound like you just kick back and just chilling. So it started there with the beat, and I listen to the beat so much that I get it memorized in my head because I can't write with shit in the background. You know what I mean? Like I get caught up in my thoughts. I can't hear myself think, so I gotta write in total silence. And I realized that Left Eye used to do that. Rest in peace to Left Eye. She used to go inside the bathroom and close the door, lock herself in the bathroom in silence, and write her raps sitting in the tub. You know what I mean? And I was like, damn, that's what I gotta do. Even when I first started rapping when I was 14, my brother was the type of person that he'll have the beat playing and he'll be writing his shit. But I'll be so focused on listening to the beat, I ain't gonna write. You know what I mean? So I would leave out the living room and go sit in the hallway or go sit in the bathroom, and then I'll write like 12 bars. But the beat is in my head. I can hear the beat. I can hear the beat in my head. I can imitate the beat with beatboxing. So I really don't need to hear the beat because it's already up here. But after a while, after writing so many bars, I gotta go back and make sure that I'm on time with it. You know what I mean? So my writing process is to start off with the beat, get an idea how the beat sound, how it make me feel, what I want to talk about, and then I write. But I gotta write in silence, man. I gotta write in silence. I can't have nothing playing. Like right now, if we got quiet, that's what that's what I need. That's what I need.
That's unique.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's unique. So before we go, if it was say it was somebody that wanted to follow in your footsteps for their craft and their sound, is there any advice that you would give them on say they at their Warrensville phase in their life, and you know they just now getting hipped and they stumble across one of your projects and they be like, I want to do this. What advice would you give that person as they starting their journey?
Ah, man, that's a great question too, because I think about that when I started rapping. What would Nas say? What was Nas telling me back at 14 when MySpace just got jumping? I don't even think the internet was around then. I don't even think YouTube was around back in 05. It probably was. I don't know.
Blew up in like 06, 07.
Okay, so yeah, it was around that time. Being older now, being at 35 and understanding that you should create your own way, I would tell people not to follow what I did, just to do what you feel is best, make your own path, like create your own avalanche and snowboard that bitch. But if you do want to follow behind what I did, if you see like it worked, because it definitely worked for me. So if you feel like it could work for you, I would say, shit, I would say start your own avalanche, man. Don't try to sound like nobody. Don't try to imitate nobody. Just find your own sound and do what you do. Because like I said, a lot of people won't gravitate to you if it's not cool, if it ain't popular, if it ain't popping. But you gotta make that shit popular. You gotta make that shit popular. You know what I mean? That's why I say 2 + 1 = 6, and I got that trademark, so don't try to take my shit. 2 + 1 = 6, man. And that shit, it sounded weird at first, like, man, what the fuck is that? But then when people start seeing that, oh, 216, that's the area code. Like, yeah, I just want to be different. Because I know that shit go catch on, and when it do catch on, everybody gonna be saying that. At least everybody from Cleveland gonna be like, nigga, 2 + 1 = 6. You know what I mean? North Coast. You know what I mean? So that's. I would say create your own avalanche and snowboard that bitch all the way to the bottom, and then when you get to the bottom, figure out how to get back to the top and do that shit again. But do it new this time. If you go down that hill and you just, because when I went down the avalanche for the first time, I was scared. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I just coasted down. Now, nigga, I'm hitting ramps and I'm doing backflips in the air and shit. You know what I mean? And sometimes when I'm doing tricks, and sometimes I might not land the trick, but if I don't, I'll get the fuck back up and do it again. You know what I mean? So, shit, if you go follow my footsteps, man, go to Signal Flow Studios, nigga. That's what you do. You go follow my footsteps, follow them bitches to Signal Flow, man.
Plug.
You know what I mean?
Any shout outs or anything you wanted, any last words before you go?
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to Signal Flow Studios, man. Shout out to the House of Hustlers.
Indeed.
Shout out to Queen Ray. Shout out to Gliss. Shout out to Big Homie Max. Man, Big Homie Max just got a deal, yo. Shout out to him, man.
Shout out Big Homie Max.
Man, my nigga just got a deal. Yeah. Hell yeah. So shout out to him and Too Lit. Shout out to Too Lit. Yeah, he cool. He cold as fuck. Yeah, shout out to him, man. Shout out to Tariq Hakeem. Shout out to Chrissy K, Andrew. Shit, I could go on for a whole bunch of shout outs, man, but
Gotta shout out the cameraman.
Yeah, shout
Out the cameraman.
out to Mighty too, man. You know what I mean?
Gotta shout out the cameraman.
Hell yeah, shout out to Zooly, man. Shout out to the whole 64 family, man. You know what I mean?
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
Yeah, man. With that being said, we gone.
All right, for sure. I appreciate it, man.
Likewise.
North Coast. That's